Psalms chapter 84 and verse 10. For a day in thy courts is better than 1,000. So 1 day in the kingdom of heaven is better than 1,000 of your best days on this side, man. Let me repeat that again. 1 single day in the kingdom of heaven is better than 1,000 of your best days on this side, man. Okay? Where things were better for you. Moments that you can reminisce on and say, yeah, that was a good day. The kingdom of heaven blows it out the park, man. It blows it out the water. Just 1 day. Not to mention, the Heavenly Father, He's going to stretch out the time. He's going to expand the time so you can enjoy your immortality. You can enjoy your life. And the Lord said in Wisdom of Solomon, He created the Israelite man to be an image of his own eternity, man. We're going to be a likeness of his own eternity, man. We're going to be many most highs, man. We're going to be many most highs. Okay? God's on earth. Under Yahweh Shemiah Shah.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
And also what's going to make us gods? These laws, statutes, commandments, and us judging by the laws, statutes, commandments, but also these laws being in our inward parts, making us those perfect judges. Not to mention, we experience these different reincarnations in this wicked flesh, so we know how to judge the flesh. We know how to judge this body because we've been in this body many times. Okay? But once again, the kingdom of heaven is going to be patterned after the mind of Yahweh Shemiah Shah, man. A righteous paradigm.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven.
All right, you got to talk one.
All right. First and foremost, we like to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem Kakadash, a double to the Apostle Adams and GMS, and citation to your brother, push your word of truth into 7 4 corners. We James Mississippi Camp. And go ahead, brothers.
Hey, Shalom. So what we're gonna get into this week, all right, the brother a lot, and when he had posted a video in the group chat dealing with the big beautiful bill, which there's been a talk, of the last couple of weeks. Now we have to understand that this bill, was damn near 1,000 pages, like 900 some pages, and it got so much shit in it. Now what these devils do, they'll put, things into these bills that they don't talk about that much. All right, and then they pick, different points to talk about with the bill. And the main thing that's being talked about now is these different tax cuts and what they mean. And these devils, they're so crafty, they can make it seem like they're doing something for your interest when ultimately it has nothing to do with you. All right, and we know one thing that Trump is all about. All right, the super rich, the Zionists, and the technocrats. Okay, he's not here for the common man to do better. Okay, he might put some things in play, that sound good. All right, but ultimately we know, all right, where the devil is headed, with all, these unrighteous decrees. Okay, so we got a video we want to get into. We got two. All right, we're gonna play the first one, then get into some precepts. Lord, we'll segue to the second. Any brother had something to say before we went to the video? So we'll get straight into it. Just a quick video. All right, and like I say, it's so much. It's gonna be just new things coming out about this bill. It's gonna be a lot of information coming out. So we'll just follow it as it go. So let's start off here.
And with that bill now law, what's in it for you? Our Brendan Kirby had a hefty reading assignment and breaks it down.
There are a lot of provisions in the new budget bill that apply to businesses, but we thought that we'd focus on the taxes and benefits that apply to individuals and families. We should start with personal income tax rates. Congress cut them during President Donald Trump's first term, but they were scheduled to revert back to the previous levels. With this act, they will remain lower across the board. Here's some other things that some of you have commented on.
How damaging this bill will be to their quality of life.
Critics of the budget bill signed into law Friday cite a multitude of objections. Here are some of them and what the text of the law says.
A lot of people are going to lose Medicaid funding with this bill.
That's the federal health program for the poor. Democrats claim almost 12 million people will lose health care. The bill doesn't change the income eligibility requirements. Instead, it imposes new requirements that critics say some people have difficulty complying with. It requires able-bodied recipients to work, attend school, or volunteer 80 hours a month. But critics say it's hard to know where to draw the line on who is disabled enough to be exempt from the work requirement. The bill also requires states to check for eligibility every 6 months to prevent people from double enrolling in more than one state's Medicaid program and remove illegal immigrants or others who don't qualify. It also makes changes to the Affordable Care Act that reduce federal funds to states that choose to cover immigrants who may not qualify under federal rules.
He's taken away so much from people. He's taken away food.
That's a reference to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly called food stamps. As with Medicaid, the law doesn't change eligibility, but includes work requirements for able-bodied recipients and extends those work requirements from the current cutoff age of 54 to 64. It exempts pregnant women and parents with children younger than 14. It also limits eligibility to citizens and legal immigrants in most cases, and it shifts some of the costs to the states.
The tax cuts that they have made for folks who make an awful lot of money, those tax cuts are permanent. Those are the ones that should be temporary. Let those folks who work in a service industry that most of us would not want to, let them benefit from the tax cuts because they need them.
That's a reference to the much talked about provision reducing taxes on tips. And indeed, those are set to expire in 2028. That's also the case with two other changes. Let's look at all three. No tax on tips. Taxpayers can deduct up to $25,000 in tips on their tax returns. This starts phasing out on incomes greater than $150,000 for individuals and $300,000 for couples. There are provisions designed to prevent regular income from being reclassified as tips. No tax on overtime. Taxpayers will be able to deduct overtime income up to a $12,500 limit, $25,000 for couples. This also phases out for wealthier taxpayers. Trump accounts. This will be a savings program for all babies born in the United States during Trump's second term. The government will make a one-time $1,000 contribution, and families can contribute up to $5,000 a year. The money can't be used until the child turns 18. There are other adjustments to the existing tax code that will affect millions of Americans. For instance, the standard deduction is going up from $15,000 to $15,750 for singles and from $30,000 to $31,500 for couples. Those limits will automatically rise with inflation. And the child tax credit will go from $2,000 to $2,200. It also will rise with inflation. There's a lot more in this bill that we just don't have time to go through tonight, but we will continue to go over some of the items that concern many of you. Reporting in the News Center, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
Hi, I'm background artist.
And real quick, just to unpack some of the things that were said. All right, so you have, some Jake cheering, some people complaining because there's so much in there. There's a lot of contradictions. There's a lot of gray areas. All right, and Jake just hear about, overtime not being taxed. Okay, or Jake just hear tax cut and he think, it's talking about them. No, those tax cuts are for the super rich. All right, those people that are grossing millions, all right, and even billions of dollars, so they can have more capital to do what you call those stock buybacks. Okay, in which that's how they pay their CEOs. That's why, all right, the CEO of Lyft, okay, can make $78 million a year because he owns so many shares in Lyft. That's how the owner pays him in stock shares. Okay, so when they make all this money, okay, and they don't have to, and they get, see, they tax cut is way different. You see, we get a tax cut, you might get an extra, $18 a month, tax cut. But when these niggas get tax cut, they get an extra $18 million, $2-3 billion a year with their tax cuts. That should make a major difference in the capital that they got to reinvest into the company or invest into something else. Okay, so a tax cut don't do you no good. All right, if you just getting an extra, $18, $19 a month, and the nigga all in front of the camera on TikTok, like he won the Super Bowl, because niggas don't understand how nothing work. So there's a lot of gray areas in there. It's a lot of double talk. Okay, and as the brother was going into, he had something called death by paperwork, to where this nigga, he floods you with so much paperwork, all right, that you just say fuck it. You don't even go into it. Just like when you get a cell phone, you get all this, what they call it, agreement, what they call it,
terms and conditions.
Yeah, terms and conditions. But then you flick the scroll one time, and you see that it's 92 pages for this goddamn cell phone. You just click OK. Like, you ain't got time to read all that shit. And that's what they do with these goddamn bills. They make them, 900 pages. You ain't finna read no 900 pages of damn bill. So he got so much hidden in there, because one thing that they ain't touch on is the deregulation of the AI infrastructure, which that's something, we'll get on to in a separate lesson. But we'll get that in a minute. What precept you want? You want to go ahead and get that Revelation 12, bro?
Nah, bro. I had wanted to get that before that video, so you can drop that. Can you give me on Psalms chapter 55, verse 21?
Yeah, Jake didn't say nothing when I asked before the video. Yeah, dang. So what you want, bro?
Psalms chapter 55, verse 21.
You got it, bro.
This is Psalm chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were smoother than oil, yet they drawn swords.
Yeah, softer than oil.
Softer than oil, the water, yet they drawn swords. Like a lot of the stuff that's in there, a lot of the stuff that's in there, it sounds good, but the rest of the stuff we haven't, little stuff that we do know, but the rest of the stuff we haven't seen, this is man's sword. It's like that dagger behind his back. This man is the devil. Everything this man is pushing is to forward his agenda.
Mm-hmm. You had something else, bro?
Can you give me Psalms chapter 140, verse 2 and 3? Or probably just 2. Okay.
You got it, bro.
This is Psalms 140, verse 2. It says, which imagine...
Start that one. Yeah.
Psalms chapter 40, verse 1. Mm-hmm. To the chief musician, a psalm of David, deliver me, O Lord Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which image mischiefs, which imagine mischiefs in their hearts. Continually are they gathered together for war. And this is what you see, man. This is war on what? The masses.
on the lower class, but especially the 12 tribes, you know, and David, was praying was like, deliver me from this man. That's what we need. We need to be all, adding to our prayer if you haven't, because we're going to need to be delivered out of this man's hand, because he's coming with something very, very draconian, it's not called the worst time ever for no reason. This man has been scheming, licking his chop, rubbing his hands, for this moment. What a moment to come.
Come, bro. If I just want to get this real quick, since you brought that out about war and what people don't understand, just to add to what you're saying, bro, that your government is at a covert war with you. All right, when you go into the word covert, it goes into a secret war. Okay, because like you said, on one hand, they're telling you these smooth words, but on the back end, they're all out war with you. Is that they're at war with you with your health, okay, with your mental, with your spiritual. Okay, it's just an all-out war. That's why even the scripture tell us, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. All right. Now, when you get a covert war, all right, it says also known as covert action or clandestine operation, which clandestine goes into secret. Okay, refers to activities conducted by a nation state or non-state actor to influence political, military, or economic conditions in another country without publicly disclosing their involvement. These actions are designed to be hidden or disguised, maintaining a level of plausible deniability for, the sponsoring entity. Okay, so these devils, they do this throughout the world, and for the last few decades, they've been at a covert war with the American public. Okay, your government, the people that you vote for, and you got your MAGA hats, and you're divorcing your husband because he voted for Trump and you voted for Kamala. All of them are at war with you. Okay, all you did was vote, for the leader of this covert war. Okay, from the government of America to the American people. And they do so many things, and it's caused so much confusion, and pass these big bills, and it leaves them, with plausible deniability to where they can deny, when accused. Okay, so real quick, when you just say secrecy, let me get it back, bro. If any brother got something, it says the primary goal is to keep the operation hidden from public view and often from the target nation's government and citizens. And see, this time the target citizens is the U.S. citizen, and it's being done by the U.S. government, which is completely bought and paid for by, the elites, But yeah, I just wanted to get into that since you talked about, you brought that precept about the war, bro. Did any other brother have a precept?
Come on, bro. You get Ephesians 6.
Got,
yeah, Ephesians 6 and 12.
Come on. And then we can segue to the other video. It's cool to segue to the other video, Halak, after the precept.
Kind. You can.
If you had some, we can get it. And then it's all on you.
Okay, I'm gonna grab one more after this.
All right. Damn. What you said, 6 and 12, bro?
Go on, bro.
You got it, bro.
Come on, this is the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Yeah, so we're not just, for one, we know that this devil, he doing the bidding of Satan, which is his God, So the Lord gave him over the Lord gave Satan over as a god unto Edomites, So they don't, even though they're doing the bidding of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, they don't understand they're still working for the Lord. But we still wrestling against this devil, the same devil You know, the same Satan or Hasatan, you know, that tried to sift our Lord, you know. But and us being wicked vessels, hey, we are subdued unto those even the things that, you know, Yahushua went through. We can't escape all that. So we're working against this damn devil. Hey, because he's the God of this world. You know, the principalities, the spiritual wickedness, because he trying to, what the brother Baya always bring out, hey, to attack a spiritual people, you gotta get on spiritually, you know. So basically, us, he want us ultimately to give ourselves over to him, you know, to where he wear us out so much, to where shit we just tap out, you know, we just tap out and give him the go ahead to do whatever he will with us, you know. But yeah, the wrestle is against basically the spiritual wickedness of this place, man. And those, because the devil, he's been given again, Job 9:24. He's been given this world, so he's gonna attack a spiritual people with a spiritual game plan, and it is to bring us all into what his devices, you know. But we're not ignorant of those devices.
Come on, bro.
So like, that's all I had, bro.
You had some. You said you had something else. Come on, bro.
Can you give me Proverbs chapter 26, verse 24 through 26?
All right, you got it, bro.
This is Proverbs chapter 24, starting at verse 20. It's Proverbs chapter 26, starting at verse 24. He that hateth disassembled, he that hated dissembled with his lips, and laid up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation.
God, and this, you know, this is what this man is doing. You know, all that is in his heart. All these abominations, he all think he want to get off. The things he want to do. This man is, this man is evil, man. He says, you know, his wickedness is going to be shown because you got the prophets on the highways and hedges and on this unicorn revealing this man works, you know, each thing this man do it in his heart, he has something, you know, evil. He has a snare in mind. He has, you know, trickery in mind, man, you know.
Come on, bro. Real quick, let's read this in the NLT. Start at 23. It's hard.
Because it's Proverbs 26, starting at verse 23. It says, smooth words may hide a wicked heart, just as pretty glaze covers a clay pot.
Oh, yeah.
People may cover their hatred with pleasant words, but they're deceiving you. They pretend to be kind, do not believe them. Their hearts are full of evil ways. The hearts are full of many evils throughout. While their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing will be exposed in the public.
That's tough. And that describes the devil to a T.
Yeah.
You know, that describes it to a T. You got it, though, bro.
I got one from after that, bro.
Oh, nah, bro. I made my point in the NLT. That was beautiful. Yeah, you got it, bro.
Yeah. Come on. Michael 2-1.
Come on. Since brother brought that one up.
I think the brother. Hold on. I think the Memphis brother Yakanan.
Yeah, he put it up there.
Yeah, he got it.
Come, this is brother GMS Memphis Yakanan Ba. Micah chapter 2 verse 1. It says, woe unto them that devise iniquity, that work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. It says, woe unto them that devise iniquity and that work evil upon their beds. That means they can't even go to sleep, you know, without plotting and coming up with ways just to continue to oppress us, and continue to, like the brother Yemiyah going into, to continue to attack us on that spiritual level. It says when the morning is light, man, they get up early to do this. And when you get up early, that means you gotta you got a certain type of dedication. You got a devotion to what you're doing, and they
committed.
They're committed.
They got a headband on.
You committed. You ever seen like them players who practice sports? They be out there early, out there all day long. But they out there early. They get up early because it's something that they dedicated to. And that's how Esau is with his wicked devices. And it says because it is in the power of his hand. He had the power to do these things right now. That's it, bro.
Okay. So, your brother didn't have nothing else. I want to play a few minutes of this. Lamar, you good?
Con. You go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna play a few minutes of this because he's gonna kind of go in depth. So he gonna break down the wealth distribution in America. All right. And we're gonna see, just how wicked this goddamn devil is, man. Brother could post on the comment board Proverbs 11:1. Okay. The devil is completely wicked when you go into this wealth distribution, man. All right, so let's play this real quick.
I want to talk to you today about the big, beautiful bill that's actually quite ugly. The one just passed by the Senate and on its way, as I'm making this recording, back to the House for a reconciliation, as they call it. So it's now time to do that.